Good morning students, how are you all? Good? Okay. So students, till now you have completed 6 lessons from your history, right? So today we are going to start our history lesson number 7. Yes. So before going to the students, I have few questions for you. Okay. So you all are ready to answer them? Yes. So I'll start asking. Students, what is our national fruit? It is mango. And what is our national bird? Peacock. National animal? It is tiger. Yes students, till now you have answered all the questions very correctly. So I hope the next question also you will be answering. What is our national flag? It is tricolor flag, or even we call it as Tiranga. Okay students, so when we are saying tricolor flag, that means it will be having 3 colors. So first color is orange, then comes white, and then green. Students, on the white layer we will be seeing a wheel-like structure. Yes, what is it? It is called as Ashoka Chakra. So students, such symbol, where do we find other than the flag? Where else? What are the places where we can find that Ashoka Chakra? Do you know? Let me help you. So we can find it on the national emblem of India. Do you know how it looks like? It looks like this. Okay. So if you see the bottom part of the emblem, you can find Ashoka Chakra there. Okay students. So in the national emblem, how many lions can you see? We are having, okay, you can see 3, but we actually have 4. So the one will be at the back, and these 4 lions will be resembling the 4 directions: north, south, east and west. Okay students. So I have told you that Ashoka Chakra will be present on our national emblem. So you have seen how it looks like. Do you know where can we usually find it? We can see it daily. You know, you want to see where we can find it?
Students, this is our 500 rupees note, right? So on this, I hope you are able to see the national emblem. So yes, so not only on 500, on all our currency notes, all our notes, it will be present. Not only on that, we can find it on coins also. Here also you can see, no? So on all our coins, our national emblem will be there. Okay.
So you have seen that our national emblem will be found on very common things like our notes and coins. So students, now we were discussing about our Ashoka Chakra, right? In Ashoka Chakra, how many lines do you see? We see 24 lines. Those 24 lines are called as 24 spokes. Okay. So what are those 24 spokes? I will be telling you by end of the video. Okay students. So now we know that this wheel-like structure is called as Ashoka Chakra, and our national emblem was also made by Ashoka. Now students, who is Ashoka? He is an Indian emperor. Yes. So obviously now our chapter name is Ashoka the Emperor who gave up war. So students, the title is so weird, right? Ashoka, he is an emperor and he gave up war. Now whenever we imagine a king, it will always be in a battlefield, war, fighting with someone in some war, happening this, that. Okay. Is it possible a king gave up on war? The main work what king does is administrating and fighting. So what made Ashoka leave the battlefield? Why did he stop fighting? Why did he give up war? That is what we are going to learn in this lesson. Was he bored with fighting the wars, or was there any other reason? I hope you all are interested to know it. Okay, so now why do we call him as Ashoka the emperor? Because he ruled over an empire. Yes, students, he ruled over an empire. That is the reason we call him as emperor. Okay. So what is an empire then? Empire is nothing but number of places under the control of single ruler. That means now we have seen there were Janapadas, there were Mahajanapadas. Now we are having empire. So the only difference is that empire will be much more larger in the size when we compare to Janapada or Mahajanapada. Okay. So whenever we talk about empire, we usually hear this term as dynasty along with them. Now if we hear Mauryan Empire, some or the other place we hear about Mauryan dynasty also. In your class 5, we have learnt about Mughal Empire and about Mughal dynasty. So what is the difference between empire and dynasty, students? The only difference is here members of a family becomes ruler one after one. Okay, so then that family will be called as the dynasty. So instead of saying that Mughal family have ruled over India, we say Mughal dynasty. Mauryan family, instead of that we use Mauryan dynasty. So here we can say more and more places ruled by a single ruler is empire, and a particular place or a particular region ruled by rulers from single family is called dynasty. Here number of places rule under the control of a single ruler, and usually here one or the multiple places ruled by number of rulers of a single family. So now one after the other means 5 months I will rule, next 5 months you will rule, like that. Elder brother 5 months, then other younger brother 5 months. Will it be like that? No. It means that if suppose father is on the position or on the throne of a king, then or if he dies, the next person who will be ascending the throne is his son, then after that his son. So in this way it will be, as we have already discussed about hereditary process, right? Yes, it is similar to that. So dynasty is nothing but members of a family becoming rulers one after the other. Then that family will be called as dynasty. Okay, understood, students? So students, as you said that we call Ashoka the emperor because he ruled over an empire. So in which empire did he belong to? He belonged to Mauryan Empire. So students, Mauryan Empire was the first empire of the country. That means earlier to this there were many Janapadas, many Mahajanapadas, but this was the only empire which was able to conquer over a large or huge area. So That is why Mauryan Empire has become the first empire of India. Okay, students. So now when we are talking that he belonged to Mauryan Empire, then the question comes, who established the empire and how did they establish the empire? Do you know who have established it? Yes, it was established by Chandragupta Maurya. So one question we have understood, who have established it? How? How did he established? Anybody knows? There are many stories related to this. Okay, then I will be telling you the story how this empire was established. Students, so in history 5 we were discussing about Mahajanapada, right? And the strongest of all Mahajanapadas was Magadha. Yes, so it was Magadha. So we have seen the rulers who were ruling over it. So first was Bimbisara, then Ajatashattu, then there were few more kings who have ruled it. But next came the Nanda dynasty. So the famous ruler of Nanda dynasty was Mahapadmanand. Okay, so he was from the Nanda dynasty. Okay, so the last ruler of this Nanda dynasty was Dhananand. He was the son of Mahapadmanand. So now when we have started discussing about the story how the Mauryan Empire was established, so he is one of the main character of the story. So next character comes the Alexander the Great. Okay, students. So now already Dhananand had a great rule over India. He had a very large kingdom in India. Okay, and Alexander, as from where did he come? Alexander, he was from Macedonia. He was from Macedonia. And why did he start? Why did he come towards India? Because he wanted to be a world conqueror. That means he wanted to conquer over all the world, defeating all the kings. So when he started on his way, whatever place came, so he started conquering everything. He started defeating all the kings and started ruling over it. So in this way he came towards the India. At that time already Dhananand was ruling over a very large part of India. Okay. Now when Alexander have almost reached to the borders of India, there we have a river, right, with 5 tributaries. What is it, students? It is river Indus. River Indus. So it will be it is having 5 tributaries. I know that you remember all the 5 tributaries. You all know, right? I have also told you a shortcut to remember them. So if he had to enter into the India, he had to cross the tributary of Indus, that is Jhelum. Was it Jhelum, students? In history 5 we were discussing about this now when we are having a closer look of Magadha. So at that time also we have discussed, no? It was not Jhelum, it was Bees. Okay. Now Alexander had tried all its efforts to conquer over India, to cross the rivers. But main problem what he faced was his own soldiers were unwilling to move forward. As they have tried a lot, they were all tired and they didn't want to move forward. And one more thing, what they were afraid, the soldiers were afraid that they would not win and they would be dead, as they have heard many glories of Indian kings, the armies, that they will be fighting on the horses, elephants, for many soldiers will be on foot also. So they did not wanted to do so. They have tried a lot. It is not that Alexander came, once he attacked, he was defeated and soldiers went back. No, he tried for many times. So also we can see that Dhananand also did not allow him to enter. And there was another ruler who also gave him a tough fight. He was Porus. Yes. So Porus also gave him a very tough fight, and that then Alexander have left from this place. Now, as we have already discussed, that Alexander have tried attacking many kingdoms in India. So, as the other kings also fought with Alexander, all their armies have become weak. Okay. As all the kingdoms have, their armies also became very weak. Okay, so this movement was very helpful for Chandragupta Maurya to attack and conquer those places. Chandragupta Maurya to attack and conquer those places. Yes. So was he doing all this alone? He did, or somebody have helped him? There was a guru, or we can say a guide, who was guiding him in a right way to conquer the place. Do you know who it is? He is Chanakya. So fourth main character in this story is Chanakya or Kautilya. Okay, students. So till now, four main characters: Dhananand, Alexander, Chandragupta and Chanakya. Now, with the help of Chanakya, Chandragupta Maurya has conquered the Nanda dynasty. That means he have started ruling over the places where Nanda rulers were ruling with the help of Chanakya, right? Now the question comes, why did Chanakya help Chandragupta Maurya? So then is also a short bit. It is also said that Chanakya was badly insulted in the court of Dhananand. He, as a professor of a university, visited the Dhanananda saying that we should collaborate with all the Indian kings. His main aim was Swarashtra, that means, or Akhand Bharat, we also say that all the rulers should become one, so that it would be very difficult for any outsider to come and rule. But Dhananand, as he was very arrogant, he did not listen and he have insulted Chanakya. So, and as Chanakya wanted to take the revenge from Dhananand, he have started helping Chandragupta Maurya. Actually, he found Chandragupta Maurya as a little boy, and he saw that he has the qualities of a great ruler, great emperor. So he have selected him, trained him, give him good knowledge, good education, and then he made him the ruler of the Magadha, and then he established the Mauryan Empire. So students, in the year 321 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya became the first ruler of Mauryan Empire. I have written it in shortcut, so you will be able to understand it, right? Yes. So he was the first ruler of the Mauryan Empire. So as soon as he became the ruler of the Mauryan Empire, or we say Magadha, so he started conquering the places that were under the Alexander's empire. Obviously, as we have just discussed, Alexander left from the place. Okay, as he was going back to the hometown, he even died. So now the places what he have conquered, was given as the responsibility to take care by Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator was the Governor General responsible to take care of the places conquered by Alexander. So, with time, what Chandragupta Maurya has done, he has defeated Seleucus Nicator and started conquering over the parts where Alexander's ambassador was ruling. Okay, he was taking care of that place. So, when Seleucus Nicator got defeated by Chandragupta Maurya, obviously all the places were now under the control of Mauryan Empire only. But what he did to maintain a good relationship with the Mauryans, or with, we can say, Chandragupta Maurya, Seleucus Nicator has married his daughter with Chandragupta Maurya. Okay students, so just that he don't treat him badly or don't punish him, or it might be any reason. For usually they say for better businesses or such reasons, they always go for such marriage alliances, so that their bond will be even more strong. They can give protection to each other whenever they want. Usually at those times, all the emperors or rulers were very scared of losing their empire, that everybody wanted to have very large extent of their empire, to extend their empire very greatly in terms of geography. Okay, so that is one of the way that Seleucus Nicator have chosen. So now, where do we get all this information from? We got this information from two main sources. So whatever the things that were happening in the Mauryan Empire, we get those information through these two sources mainly. So the first is Arthashastra. It's a book written by Kautilya, that is none other than Guru or the guide of Chandragupta Maurya. Next was Indica. This is also a book and which was written by Megasthenes. He was a Greek ambassador. Okay. Now this Greek ambassador was sent to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, and whatever he was observing in the empire, he used to write in a book. So that book is named as Indica. Okay students? So Chandragupta Maurya has ruled from 321 BCE to 297 BCE. So after that, as it was a hereditary process, who would become the next king? The son of Chandragupta Maurya, and he was Bindusara. So students, already we have come through a similar name, that was Bimbisara. He was from a different dynasty and Bindusara is from a different dynasty. He was Bimbisara and he is Bindusara, son of Chandragupta Maurya. Yes students. So after Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara has ascended the throne and he has ruled from 297 to 273 BCE. Okay, and when Bindusara has started ruling, even he have conquered many places. After he died, the next ruler who ascended the throne was Ashoka. So we will be studying about Ashoka in detail. Okay, but as for now, he started ruling in the year 269. So students, here you can see there is a gap between 273 to 269. Actually, Ashoka was supposed to become the ruler in 273 only, but there were many oppositions. Many people did not wanted him to become the ruler, and many people say that just to become the ruler, Ashoka has killed his brothers, hundreds of brothers. Then he have become the ruler in 269. Okay students? Ashoka, during his reign, that when he was ruling, he have almost conquered all the kingdoms in India except the few who were in the southern most part of the India. Okay, so you can see the map which almost shows that he have conquered almost all parts of the India. So, and he was able to establish an empire which was much more larger in the size when compared to his grandfather, that is Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, Chandragupta Maurya had empire only in the north, but Ashoka was able to stretch it till the end, almost to the end. Okay, so he has established a very great empire. So students, as we have earlier seen that there are very few differences between an empire and kingdom. Just to recall it once again, we would discuss again. Okay, so first difference is kingdom will be small in size and whereas empire will be bigger in size. Okay, the next part is here the number of officials required will be less and whereas in empire they will be more. And to maintain such a big army or maintain such big empire, number of soldiers and resources required in kingdom will be less and required in empire will be more. Okay, so this is just a small differences between them. So students, as I have told you, we were discussing about spokes in Ashoka Chakra, right? There were 24 spokes. So you want to know what they are? Yes. So here you can see what are these 24 spokes. वो टीवी की आवाज नहीं आ रही. So, as you have seen what were the 24 spokes, now we will be discussing about Ashoka, what were the type of administration was present in the Mauryan Empire, okay, and what was the incident based on which Ashoka has stopped waging the wars. Why did he give up on wars? So, I hope you have understand the story how the Mauryan Empire was established, and we will be meeting in the next video with the answers of the questions. Okay students, till then, bye, take care.